Oh man, we've got some really cool stuff to show and talk about today. Welcome back, cousins of mine. It's Rusty. I'm still at it, still buying and selling things, and this week we've got some really cool stuff to show you that we purchased at thrift stores and auctions. And I'm excited to show you several things. We've got jewelry, we've got ceramics, we've got candlesticks. I mean, all kinds of stuff. And there's some great values in these items. You may or may not be aware, but let's go through them. I'll show you how I inspect them, how I'm planning on selling them, and kind of what I expect to get. Let's get into it. You know, yesterday was a really awesome day, not just because we got some cool stuff, but there's some things that I came across that I've never seen before in doing this full time. And I wanted to show you some of these, talk to you about why I bought things and kind of what maybe we'll expect to get out of them. Starting over here, we've got some jewelry laying out here, and there's a various types, but let's just talk about these for a moment. This is sort of like a screw-in clasp. It's not like high-end. It's made out of just like copper or brass. But this necklace incorporates these large beads that are kind of like a Murano style. These are like art glass beads. And beads like this, even loose ones, can bring some pretty good values. But you see that this is a really attractive, large, kind of heavy necklace. We've got little metal pieces between either bead, and we also have knots tied so that they're not rubbing together. That's nice. That's a sign of good craftsmanship in construction of this, that they're going to leave a little bit of space. We got some pink stones here. These are actually rose quartz. So this is an actual mineral. Rose quartz is not glass, and then accented by other pink glass beads. This thing cost me $5. I haven't looked up the exact price, but I believe this is a $30 or $40 necklace right here. Moving over to this, we've also got some pink beads incorporated, but this is a very different type of necklace. If you look at these beads, the white colored ones, you'll see that they kind of glisten a little bit. They kind of reflect back at you. What you're looking at here, folks, is not a synthetic material, but rather it's like abalone, like mother of pearl. It comes from a shell. It's been carved out to make beads, and then they drilled a hole through it. You've got some kind of gold, like plated beads in between here, and then these beads, which I believe are just a type of ceramic bead made to look pink. It's pretty attractive. And then you've got this nice little gold-colored clasp here. This is, it's got even a brand name on it, and I gotta flip it around here if I can and see what she says. Let's see here if I can get it, set it for you. Can you see that? I think that it says Leonard. Something like that. You'll have to tell me if you know better. But sometimes these necklaces that incorporate this shell can sell for gobs of money. And given an example, that's a nice one, but this one's even nicer. You can see it also has the same types of beads here. These are mother of pearl beads. They look a little older, maybe in a little bit worse condition. However, this clasp right here at the end is actually made out of 14 karat solid gold. And usually they don't put gold or silver clasps on cheaper materials like plastic or glass. And there's a certain type of, is it balamute or something like that? Maybe you tell me, put it in the comments if you remember, but it's some sort of descriptor word, and I'm not exactly sure. I guess it's a type or a region maybe that it was manufactured from, but it was cool to find this. I've actually never found one like this with a gold clasp on it. That's why I picked it up. This one right here is incorporating glass beads, kind of like check glass. We've got clear, smaller ones, and then black, kind of mirroring like onyx. And then up here, we've got a nice little clasp as well. Let's see if I can pull up. The other thing about this is that this is also a gold. I believe it's got a 14 karat gold clasp on it. So that's nice. I mean, that's sort of an indication of a little bit of a higher end little piece there, not just costume. Now we've got some kind of lower quality, but still genuine, kind of cultured pearls here. You've got the darker ones that are like black pearls, and then some kind of greenish colored ones. And then this very neat, interesting, sort of like it's like a rectangular cube type of a clasp that comes in here. And on one side, I think it's when you open it up, it says silver. So this is like a gold, like a vermeil gold over sterling silver clasp. That's a cool one too. It says $22, but I did not pay $22 for that. These were all marked down when I bought them. And then lastly, here on this corner, we have this necklace. Beautiful, isn't it? It's quite heavy. And this was mixed in costume jewelry. Just upon looking at it, you might think it's just a bunch of little red beads. But in reality, these are actually made from, these are all garnet beads. So you've got small round ones, and then you've got some chunkier, more sort of like nugget type shaped ones. A multi-strand necklace. And then at the very top here, you have a large sterling silver kind of, I don't know what you call this piece whenever you've got multiple strands coming out of it, but it's a part of the overall clasp design. You've got this little hook here, but that's made out of sterling silver as well. It's quite heavy. It probably weighs somewhere in the 60 to 70 gram region, and so that's why I picked it up. We're going to kind of bounce back and forth so we can get a variety of things in. I'm not going to do all the jewelry at once, but look at this. Is this not beautiful? Now, I had this piece before. I bought it at a thrift store for $2. And what you're looking at is what they call cloisonné. Cloisonné. You've got this cobalt enamel paint, or kind of like stuff on the back here and on the top. This is like a little a little display piece or a little stand that it would sit on. This came by itself. But then yesterday I came across this, and it's only cost me $12. I thought that was a really good price considering these are selling for over $100 pretty regularly on eBay. You can see the enamel. It's a powder blue, a light blue on the bottom here. And then just a very exquisite kind of gold leaf backdrop with these different floral designs and motifs. Lots of colors, lots of stuff going on. It's kind of like a kinetic piece. Lots of movement, kind of energetic on the inside. This is what they call a ginger jar shape. A little jar. It's got the nice unbroken, undamaged top to it. A lot of times you'll find things like this at thrift stores, but it's missing the lid. And so inside you've got that blue enamel as well. Very beautiful piece. You know, cloisonné, essentially this is made by a wire construction. So all of the outline of all of this is kind of bent around and put in place, glued in place, or welded or like soldered in place. And then they take a substance. It's like a combination of glass powder and some enamel and some things that's like a paste or liquidy thing, and they put them in between these wires, and they kind of wipe it down, they clean it off, and then they bake it and fire it in, and it causes that stuff to harden in place, and then you have this beautiful piece. And these are typically Japanese or Asian, Japanese, maybe Chinese, but you've got, this is a really nice piece. And since this hadn't sold yet and it incorporates some of the same colors, then I thought this might be nice to put together. Maybe I'll increase the value of the overall sale. Right here we have a little pair of snip type scissors. Now you might think, well, it's just scissors, Rusty. Why do you care? Well, there's a little bit more going on here than maybe meets the eye. And if you do a little bit more inspection, you'll discover some information that will be useful to you. So looking at them, they're interesting. By like just looking at it, I think that they're cool. They look old. You'll notice that over here you've got some little flathead screws. That's interesting. And then the way that the blades come together is also a little bit unique. But if you look on the end here, you're going to see a couple of stamps. One says sterling. Then you've got 2 or 3 other maker type marks, jewelry marks there, and then the number 80. This is actually by a brand called Gorham that's pretty well known and collected in the silver realm. And this is a sterling silver. So this entire pair of scissors here, a pair of snips, is sterling silver. It's fairly heavy. It's probably 40, 45 grams of sterling silver. This was an awesome little buy for me. I paid $12 for it. Online on eBay, they're selling in the $80 to $90 range, this particular type. The fact that it's a nice brand definitely helps, and they're in good condition, so I'm definitely going to make some money on this one. Couple more pieces of jewelry here. This was selling for just $3, and so I picked it up. You can see it's a little pin, like a little brooch. Some people call them brooches, some people call them pins. They got this little metal pin on the back here. There's no mark of metal. You can kind of bend it, so I know it's a soft enough metal that it's not made out of silver or gold. Those are harder metals. So this is a base alloy, probably with a vermeil like a gold over that. But it's attractive. It's not missing anything. So you've got faux pearls on the outside, and then either this is like a cabochon of like a white glass, or no, it's not moonstone because it's not glistening at me. It's probably glass. Cool, this is definitely old, early 1900s, possibly late 1800s. It's small, but for a $3 purchase, this is easily a $14 to $20 piece, possibly more than that. And then look at this beautiful costume set, or a parure, or however you call that, like a partial set. We've got a brooch here and some clip-on earrings. Beautiful, like soft kind of baby blue colors incorporated here. You've got a little clear rhinestone. You've got an etched kind of rhinestone on either side here, a different color, or different shape rather, same color, and then even a third piece here that has a little wire that goes up in there. Beautiful little pieces, open back, and then just get a load, folks, of this brooch. Isn't that beautiful? Not missing any pieces. I got to take this little paper tag off of it. But if we flip her over here, you're going to see a couple of things. You're going to see these are either plastic or glass. It's a fairly heavy piece, well constructed, very attractive. You got open backs, and you've got a pin in the back that is built into the overall construction. You've got a little bit of puddling, a little bit of pooling in the metal alloy around that as a part of the overall composition of the piece. I don't know for sure, but this has a lot of the telltale signs of being like a Juliana piece or a Deliza and Elzer piece. You out there who collect costume brooches and pieces, you know a lot about this stuff. Please get on a comment and let me know if you think that this is or is not Juliana. If not, it could be something more like a shrine piece or possibly something like that. It is a higher end piece, I know that for sure. Not quite sure what this will go for. If it's one of those higher brands, it could go for $100 or more as a set. If it's not, this might still go in the $40 to $50 range. That's probably what I would do it on at the lowest, because I still think it's got a decent value there. KJL, this is Kenneth J. Lane. It's got its own paper kind of description, a warranty card in it, and what this is holding, this little satchel here, is a little brooch. Let me do it like this and kind of drop it out. I want to be careful because I don't want any of these rhinestones to fall out. But this is a beautiful little crown jeweled kind of crown-shaped brooch here. Several colors: ruby, red, emerald, green, some clear rhinestones simulating diamonds. Beautiful piece, probably a gilt piece, and it has that KJL mark on the back. This is a nice piece, probably going to sell this for $50, $60, maybe a little bit more. The fact that it comes with the paper and the felt baggie certainly is gonna draw in more buyers because you've got more complete items. A lot of times people would just pitch these, and so even though there are these available for sale, not all of them will have all of these items. And if a person sees two for the same price, they're going to go for mine over theirs. One of the next items I wanted to talk about here was this really cool, nifty looking thing. Now you can see that this is set up to look like a small book. The top here looks from a distance like it's the edges of pages, but if you look close, you'll see, no, that's not pages. That's a solid piece of something with like a gold gilt kind of paint on it. On the outside, you've got something that's kind of like crackled leather on the underside, or maybe an enamel that has crackled over time. You have what looks like some sort of a pot holding almost like a floral type of a thing, and then these are carved pieces of abalone shell inset into this. gorgeous look. Got a nice little brass kind of hook piece on the end here. It's missing the other side, unfortunately, so there's definitely some condition issues, not least of which noting that this is no longer attached on one side. So still together, but because this is made out of a combination of wood, lacquer, or like enamel, and leather, the leather would have been what held this to in. You open it up and you see on the inside is this beautiful sort of felt kind of substance here with, again, like a bouquet of flowers that looks like it's been kind of, it's just an interesting look here. A nice design on the outside, but inside you discover that not a book, but it's actually to hold photographs, and these are what you would call a daguerreotype. So it's a type of photographic image. What you're looking at here are two young girls dressed up in dresses with little flowers and things in their hair, and they're holding hands. Isn't that cute, with their hands on either side of their dresses? It's not uncommon to find these in frames such as this, gold-colored frames. But then if you flip it over, oh look, there's another side. It's still attached. I got to be careful with it because I don't want this one to break either. And on this side, we also have a photograph. In this case, it is a mother and a son, or just a young lad, and they're holding hands again. Very, very nice pictures. What a cool way of displaying this. It's made to look like a book, but it is in fact a miniature photo album. I love it. I'll also show you the this side over here. If you were to put it up like in a book, a case, it says token. I love it. I think it's so cool. So I'd never actually found one of these in person that had this whole setup. I found multiple daguerreotypes over time, bought and sold those. If you ever find ones that are really bizarre, strange, people making weird poses, holding strange things, or men in military regalia from early on, like Civil War era, Revolutionary War era, those can bring the most values. But if you find them displayed in unique ways like this, they can definitely bring more money. I got into a bunch of watch stuff, and I just pulled this one out because this, you wouldn't necessarily, you see this in a jar of, or like a box of costume pieces of jewelry or other kind of basic watches. You might not think it has much value. I can find places that sell watches for $2 or $3 a piece all the time. If I ever find ones that are older ladies' watches or men's watches that are gold filled, I buy them up every time. And then sometimes when I find ones like this that are a decent brand, this is like a Skagen brand. It's like I believe it's a German brand. And this is sort of like, again, a mother of pearl kind of face here, a dial, which is nice. And it's in good condition. It's got a good band on it. These are selling used condition that are functional in the $30 to $40 range. So not too bad. $2 or $3 purchase is going to translate into $20 to $30 probably in profit. Didn't buy a lot of bangles, but I did buy a couple. I bought this one because I assumed it might be made out of Bakelite. I did a test on it. Sure enough, it is. So this is a Bakelite, which is an early form of plastic. They're pretty collectible in the costume jewelry world. And then, not unlike this little ginger jar we showed a moment ago, you've got a couple of bangles that are also cloisonné. So it's made in the same style. You've got little flowers. You've got like a soft purple underneath color on one. You got like a red on this one. Both attractive. I've sold these individually all the way up into lots of 20 or 30 at a time. Haven't decided what I'll sell these for, but I may see if I have any others I haven't sold, try to put them together, do a lot so a person gets several in one listing. Here's another kind of, almost looks like a watch band from a distance. It's an expandable bracelet. Look how much that can expand. It can even expand more than that. But if you look inside, and I'm going to see if I can find, oh, look at that. Perfect. Pulled it right up. It says something about Our Lady. Leading Lady, it says. And then it says Harwood underneath it. Leading Lady, Harwood. I think Harwood is probably the maker, the manufacturer. I don't know what the lead and lady thing means, unless that's a model or maybe it was personalized for the person who wore it, but it'd be pretty chunky for a woman, but it's a little bracelet. It just goes like that. Maybe I'll hold that for a moment and see how that goes. These old things, this is kind of like a gold-plated piece. Some of that gold plating is wearing off a little bit, so it's not as nice as it would have been when it was first sold, but there's definitely still some value there, and somebody will want to buy that. Then right here, I placed a couple of necklaces. This is by the Trifari brand. And this is not just Trifari, it's not a newer piece, it's an older one. This would be considered Crown Trifari. And oftentimes on the back of these on the clasp, I'm trying to see if I can zoom in. I don't know if it's on the end of that one this time or not. It's probably on the back of the pendant section. So let's take a look. Yes, it is, right there. Do you see that? Not only does it say Crown Trifari, but it says patent pending. So really cool old piece here. Beautiful. We got these kind of baguette rhinestones, gold colored. And then we have another piece right here. People might pass these up thinking it's just old plastic costume jewelry, has no value. But when it's by well-known or popular brands or collectible brands like Crown Trifari, they can bring some pretty good value. So if I find this for $2 or $3, I'm buying it all day, every day. Moving on, we've got some other cool pieces of jewelry here that I have placed in small lots. This is exactly how I'm going to try to sell them. Of course, if I wanted to sell them slowly over time to maximize my money, I could do that. But time is money. So would I rather sell it for a little bit less to get the money today, or wait 6 months and sell it for a tiny bit more? For me, it makes more sense to sell it for less faster. And so what we have here, I'll probably do this is what I'll probably do, and I'll show you why in a moment. What you're looking at here are a couple of brooches and maybe like a pendant that would go on a necklace. This is like a kind of a hand-painted type, like a porcelain or ceramic piece here. Some Aurora Borealis rhinestones, this beautiful carved kind of gold-colored thing on the back here. I didn't pay $10 for this. Everything was discounted, but you've also got a little something that's marked right here on the pin. I think it says made in Austria. So this is a vintage Austrian made in Austria piece. This is very, very similar, and we have this very beautiful, like a turquoise powder blue again. Same motif, same design, but on the back of this one, it says W Germany. So this was made in West Germany, not far from Austria, of course. And this little spot right up here is as a pendant. So we've got a brooch, we've got a pendant, and then we've got this piece, beautiful little piece of, my guess is this is art glass, but it's made to look like agate. It's possible that it's agate, but I think that it's probably glass. Again, you've got these little, it's holding it in place. It's not superficial, these little prongs. And then on the back here, again, it has a marking on the back that says made in West Germany. So West Germany, these all are manufactured roughly in the same location and same era, and that's why I'm going to sell them together. The reason I'll do this one individually is, though it's similar in look, this is a kind of like texture. You can actually feel it. It's like bumpy, almost like braille would be. Oh, there you go. You can kind of see that. It's got an attractive little motif here. It's set up like a cameo, although this is glass. But what you have here is a gold-filled outer shell, this piece that is holding it in place. And if you look on the back, you'll see that this is made by the Lennox company. They've made lots of ceramic stuff. I dropped a piece I'm going to show you here in a minute. They've got lots of stuff, plates and glassware and things like that. But down on the bottom here on the side, let's see if I can find it. If I turn this slightly on the inside here, let me zoom in. Right here is where you can see that it says Lennox 12K GF. So this metal is gold filled with 12 karat purity of gold. So the outer layer of this is a layer of 12 karat gold. So this has value both in the gold content, but also as a collectible piece made by a well-known brand. These are some nice pieces right here. These are what they would call a micro mosaic. So this is entirely made of little pieces of, plastic or glass that they have glued into place to create a picture from tiny little components. And some of these, depending on where they're made and when, can sell for really good money. I don't know what these will go for, but to maximize, I'm going to go ahead and put these up in a lot. Now, you always want to check just in case these are made of a precious metal or something. These are not, but they've got different cool looking patterns. These are mostly flowers, but some really pretty colors, as you can see. There's collectors for this stuff. Those of you who know this stuff may even be able to tell by the back roughly where they were made and who by. But again, I like that I've got 3 different sizes, 3 different motifs here, different types of colors. I think that'll be a nice lot. These things can sometimes sell as cheap as $5 to $10, other times $30 or more. So I'm probably going to put this up as an auction because I'm not quite sure. I'm going to price it at about probably maybe $10 a piece, $30. Somebody might think that's a good deal. I don't know. We'll see. If it doesn't sell, then I'll probably throw it up as a buy it now and see where I get. I've also assembled this little lot, which is a few things. We've got a brooch here, another pin, and then 2 pendants that are in the shapes of crosses. But these are carved out quite nicely. Wait, doggone it. I'm always dropping stuff. This is shell. This is made out of like mother of pearl. You can see how that kind of glistens. This is a naturally occurring substance from the ocean, of course, and it's just beautiful. They made this. These are older pieces, early 1900s, most likely. Maybe a little bit later than that. Some of these pins seem to be a little bit newer, but they could have been glued on later on. I've definitely come across ones that are older. Sometimes the older ones will be a little bit more yellowed and stuff, just degradation over time. But there is definitely a collector market for this as well, and I think a person having an opportunity to buy 5 at once might sweeten the deal a little bit, so I'm hoping to get some good money off of those. This is a nice little necklace I got, and the cool thing about this is that we have some information on a tag, but before we get to that, let's just take a look. What are we looking at here? We're looking at a necklace that has links. It kind of goes down to a point. We've got several little stones here that glisten, a gold colored metal. You flip it over, you can see that it's pretty well constructed. Interesting, attractive piece. We got this type of style, what you call that, the style of chain. And then if we roll down here, we're going to see, we see the price tag, but that is not what I paid. It says 10K over diamond. If that's true, then what that's meaning is that this is a sterling silver necklace. Okay, that's the base metal, sterling silver, which is collectible. People like silver. And then it has a thin layer of gold over it and potentially diamonds. But let's look and see what this tag says, because look at this from China. We have the original retail tag, and this is what the retail tag says. The retail tag says 10K over 925, which again, 10 karat gold, filling over sterling silver. It says 1/2 CT TW carat total weight. So a 1/2 carat total weight of diamonds. And then it says a 1/2, and it says clarity J. So when you're looking at diamonds, there's different things. There's color, there's clarity, there's size, there's shape. So they're saying that the color of these diamonds is the J color, and the clarity is an I3. And there's a whole chart. You can look those up online, the different charts of clarity and color. But it's cool that I have this because I am going to list it. And then it's an 18-inch chain. This is all the information I need. And originally, the retail suggested price here was $439. You can see right here, we have a mark from the maker and then the 925. I love this, because now I can put this in the title and say, look, this is a $440 necklace with diamonds, gold, and silver. And I can list this thing on auction at something like $200, 50% of the price, and hopefully I can pull out a really good sale. I did not spend more. I think I spent about $50 on this. I'm hoping to net at least $100 to $150 profit off of that. Now look at these, folks. These were cool. I found these at a thrift store. I paid $25 a piece for them, so I paid $50 for the pair. When I did some research online, I found that they were listed and selling in the $250 to $300 region. These are old vintage candelabra. We've got these little children, almost like little cherub type people. You got a three-footed base here that's kind of carved out. This is screwed in, as you can see from the bottom. It's screwed into place. He's holding this, and then you've got a space here for 3 different candles. Really nice, attractive. May not be your style, but definitely some people would be interested in this. And again, for a $50, if I can sell these just for $200, I spent $50. I can net in the $130 to $140 net profit after my cost of goods is taken out and my taxes and stuff. Fees from eBay, that sort of thing. This is a beautiful box, and look at this. I only paid $21 for this, and I think it's worth quite a bit more. When I looked it up, I saw some selling for over $100. But what you're looking at, folks, is a wooden box that has a lacquer over the top of it, and then this is all mother of pearl, again carved out, inset to look at this beautiful motif with birds on a branch and leaves. And then down here, if you open her up, you'll discover that this is a jewelry box with a mirror, as you can see here. And you slide it back so that'll hold in place. And then down here, this has got a little piece of metal. I need to see if this is actually a part of it or not. It might have. Oh, yep. So this would have had a little tack put in here, which I have one. I can fix that. And this would have gone on here like this. And so the purpose of this is to hold it open so that I don't have to lean it up against the wall here. But I'll get a tack. I'll fix that. And then over here, you got this little spot that opens up so you can put something underneath of like kind of a concealed area. This also has a design on it. Beautiful little box. I couldn't believe they were selling it for so cheap. I was excited to get that. From time to time, folks, I get items that need to be cleaned or fixed or repaired, refurbished. And so I've pulled out, after I get all this stuff listed here, I'm going to do a little bit of work I wanted to show you and talk about. I dropped these things in, but this is something I bought yesterday too. It is a divided little dish, maybe a candy dish for little snacks or something like that. And then this tarnished piece at the bottom is actually sterling silver. So it's 925 parts out of 1,000 silver. And I'm looking for where it notes that. Of course, it would be in a spot that I can't quite reach. Let's zoom in. Let's find it. We need to find it, folks. Here it is. Okay. There you go. Sterling by somebody. Who is that by? What does that say? I can't quite read it, but I'll have to get out a loop and get in there. But the point is, it's a nice vintage dish. Probably, it's glass, obviously. I was going to say it might be crystal, but it's not quite heavy enough to be crystal. Sterling silver, that'll sell on its own. But when I was buying this, not unlike one or two of the necklaces I showed you earlier in the video, I wanted to buy this necklace. And while she was going through to kind of package them up, the little thread in here broke, and all of these little beads fell on the ground. But what you're looking at are this would be considered a graduated necklace, because it starts with tiny beads at the top and gradually increases in size until the very bottom bead, which is the largest, where a pendant maybe would hang. And so what you have here is, after we picked them all up, I still got the sterling silver clasp there that I'm going to reuse. But what I need to do is restring this, because this necklace is going to hold some pretty good value. I paid about half of that. I paid about $7 for the necklace. But it is a vintage necklace, and this is mother of pearl, carved beads. They're like kind of tube type shaped, almost like, not barrels, but almost like ovals. I don't know. Really cool. But what I'm going to use is I've got these little, and this is made for stringing beads, these tiny little like needles that I can use to kind of sew things in. And then I have what's called beading thread. So I'm not going to use some kind of, old string like this that can get wet or get degraded really easily. I'm going to use something that's very strong this time, and I'm not going to make it super tight. I'll make it a little bit loose so that it can still flex and bend. But when I attach this, it'll be in much better condition. It'll still be white. There'll be no difference in the way that it looks. It'll just be a lot stronger and a lot less likely to break. If you have any inclination to do stuff like this, it can certainly be worth it. She was like, well, I don't know if you want this anymore. We'll probably just pitch it. And I was like, can I still buy it? I'll restring it. She said, well, sure. So there you go. It'll take me maybe 10 to 15 minutes to do this, but I bet I can sell this necklace for $80 to $100, believe it or not. So it is worth my time. All right, here's the thing I knocked over a second ago that I wanted to show you. What you're looking at here is an umbrella. Now, I'm kind of teasing you a little bit because there's really nothing unique or interesting about what you're seeing so far. It's just an umbrella. It's not the newest umbrella in the world. It's a little bit older. However, it's not super old. Not like this. Look at this, folks. This is, you can see that it is shaped and carved out. It's not actually carved. It was poured into a mold. But you're looking at like sunflowers, some leaves here, what appears to be more like roses. Then you've got something down here that looks more like, I don't know if that's supposed to be like begonias or I don't know what that is, folks. I'm getting into stuff I don't know. But the point is, this is shaped almost kind of like, it's squared off a little bit, but this is the handle. And if you flip her around, on the end here, you see 3 letters monogrammed. This is someone's initials, and this is an early 1900s, late 1800s sterling silver handle, which has been fashioned to a newer umbrella. So it's still functional. You can still use it. This would be the kind of thing you take out to like the Kentucky Derby or something, show off to your friends. But if you go down here to the bottom, I believe it's down here. Let me see here. If I flip her around, yes, it is. You'll see right here it says sterling. So this is a sterling silver. This entire thing is made out of sterling silver. You don't see these a lot. I knew they existed. I've seen examples, but I've actually never come across one in the wild myself. And when I come across unique things like this, I usually buy it. I paid $100 for this. These things are selling in the, on the low end, $250, on the high end, $350 to $400. I wouldn't be surprised if I could pull $300 out of the sale of this, and I will leave the umbrella on it, folks, because someone might want to use this. Very cool. I'm going to use a kind of a tube type box. It's more like it's not a tube, but it's like almost triangular. You can get them for free, priority boxes on the U.S. Postal Service website for free, as long as you ship it priority. I probably will. It's long. It's a weird shape. That's about the easiest place for me to go box for this, but I'm excited to get this listed real soon. Oh boy. I mean, would you look at this? What you're looking at right here is a little baggie of a necklace, a bracelet, and some earrings. Sterling silver with turquoise beads in it. Really nice. That's bagged up this way because that's how I'm going to list it to sell. Over here, you have another lot of sterling silver jewelry, rings, earrings, and actually this large piece is, believe it or not, a watch band. You would put a watch down in here, and that would be what goes around your wrist. That's also set up to be listed in a small lot like that. Over here, we have a lot of, this is all sterling silver, but it has a gold fill-in over it. This would be called gold vermeil or gold over, if you've ever seen that, gold over sterling silver. So the base metal is sterling silver. It has gold fill-in on the outside of it, 14 karat, 18 karat, something like that. And this is all wearable stuff. Necklaces, bracelets, earrings. We've got pendants with real gemstones like sapphires or amethyst in here, some garnet. Here's one with like a really nice pearl, which I don't like it being in this baggie like that because I don't want that pearl scratch, so I'm going to have to take it out of there. But this is all set up. This is probably 100 to 150 grams of gold over sterling silver. This gargantuan bag right here is all sterling silver jewelry. Can you believe that? This is right around 2,000 grams, around 4 pounds of vintage and antique sterling silver jewelry. We've got everything you can think of in here. Rings, earrings, necklaces, brooches, pins, charms, bracelets, all kinds of stuff in here. And there's a lot of gemstones in here as well. Real gems, other like, costume type gems and things. We've got, cufflinks. Oh my goodness. A lot to go through. It's a lot. Something like this, in this amount, if I were to sell this by itself in a big bag of 2,000 grams, I could probably command somewhere in the $3,500 to $4,000 range, just this bag, without even the person knowing all the individual pieces that are in here, for two reasons. Number one, they'll strip it down and sell it for the base metal, or they can pull these out and individually sell them and make more money. So this would be something I could sell to a scrapper, or I could sell to another reseller if I didn't want to take the time selling them individually. Haven't decided what I'm going to do with it yet, but this is an enormous amount of jewelry. It's really awesome. And then sliding over here, same situation. This jewelry, however, is also all different types, mostly chains and bracelets, but this is gold-filled jewelry, meaning it has a stamp on it that says it's 1/20th 12K GF or 14K GF, gold-filled, rolled gold plate. You've got a couple of watches in here that are gold-filled watches. This is clocking in at right around 550 grams of gold-filled jewelry. Now, when it's 100, 200 grams, you're going to be getting usually for scrap about $1 per gram. But for something that's 500 or 600 grams, I can double that. I wouldn't be surprised if 550 grams doesn't bring me between $850 and $900 actually, because again, they'll pull this out. They could harvest the gold if they want, or they can sell pieces individually. I'm not kidding you when I say that if I did not even wish to take the time to pull them all out, research them, list them, take that time, sell them slowly over time, that the total value of everything you're looking at right here, the sterling silver jewelry, the gold over sterling silver, straight sterling silver, and gold filled jewelry, if I were to list these just in bulk prices, the value of this is going to be somewhere in the $5,000 to $6,000 range. I'm expecting $3,500 to $4,000 off of this, $800 to $900 off of that, probably about $250 to $300 for each of these bags individually, and the same for this. This is probably going to be in the $200 range, $150 to $200 range. So if I wanted to break these all up and sell them individually, I could see as much as $8,000, possibly a little bit more, selling these. But you know what? That could take me a year or 2 years to sell all of this. And so therein lies the conundrum. What is my time worth? Do I want to sell these over time to maximize my money, or would I rather get $5,000 today? That's something only you'll know for you. It'll depend on how much you spent on it and what your monetary needs are, what your cash flow is like. There are a lot of variables to consider here. But if somebody wanted to offer me $5,000 today, I would certainly take it, because what I can do with $5,000 in a 6-month period, I can gain a lot more money by buying and selling than just letting this sit here in my warehouse over time. But this is really cool stuff. Going through this individually and looking at specific pieces is going to be for another video, but I just wanted to say this stuff out here, folks, deals like this are out there. Now, in full disclosure, some of this jewelry I already had. I packaged it all up with stuff, but I would say half to 3/4 of what you're seeing here is stuff I purchased yesterday, along with every other item that I showed you today, among others. But we just don't have time today to go all into it. We'll get some more out for this next video, go into some details on that. But if you see something here that has a value, or you know something about it, please leave me a comment. I don't know everything. I learn from you as well. I appreciate anything you could give. Just wanted to show you a couple things that we just sold that are going to be going out probably tomorrow. Here are a few little cordial cups. kind of like shot glasses. They got a little bit of a design of like grape clusters on a vine. Underneath it says 800, and that stands for silver. 800 out of, you can see that right there, 800 out of 1,000 parts silver. So it's not quite enough silver to be considered sterling silver, but it is 80% silver. It's a set of 5 that sold for $50. Here's a nice, you would call this sort of chunky, like a nugget, double strand nugget turquoise necklace with a sterling silver, a large claw clasp there. That sold for $60. Then right here we've got also in the turquoise realm, sort of a southwest design. You've got a combination of red coral in there and turquoise. It's a dainty, not super dainty, but sort of a smaller, lighter weight cuff bracelet. This sold for $45. And then we've got this on auction. It's about to sell. Don't know what the price is yet. This is a Foster and Bailey piece. It's a gold filled piece. You've got a couple of black stones and a little ruby inset there. It's an Art Nouveau piece. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. Bought this about 2 weeks ago. So if it does sell tomorrow, that's going to be a really good turnaround for that type of sale. Thank you so much, cousins, for sticking around for this video. I hope you learned a thing or two that can help you on your reselling journey. Good luck out there treasure hunting. We'll be back real soon with another awesome video. Make sure you check out the What Sold channel. That has both the videos from our podcast as well as showing close-up shots on our eBay store of things we've sold and exactly how much we got out of them. See you soon.
Rusty Bargain Warehouse. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, we got those, and we got some of the small variety too, and we can, yeah, bring it on by. We can take a look. All right. To about 4 o'clock. Yeah. All right.
A 1 and a 2 and Rusty the reseller, he'll sell you the shirt off his back. Well, I have done it. Rusty, Rusty, Rusty how to. Rusty, Rusty, Rusty how to. Rusty, Rusty, Rusty how to. Rusty, Rusty.